Wait, are you taking an ECG here? And you're taking one here. Are you taking an ECG next to a piñata? Heads up!
That's the sound of Apple announcing its latest version of the Apple Watch, which is being released this week around the world. This one can monitor your blood oxygen levels, it can do email, it can do electrocardiograms, and you can even wear it to go swimming. And now, thanks to a Toronto high school student who is a whiz at coding, you can also use it to recite your daily Jewish prayers. Eitan Steinfeld is the inventor of WatchSiddur. He's 14 years old. He's in grade 9 now at Tannenbaum Chat High School in Thornhill, Ontario. Last year, Eitan's grandmother got him an Apple Watch for a bar mitzvah present. And since it was COVID and he had more time on his hands, Eitan used his self-taught coding skills to build the world's first free daily prayer book app made specifically for Apple Watches. He hasn't done much marketing, and in fact, I think we're the first media outlet to interview him. But the Teens app is becoming known around the world.
But it's been downloaded 147 times over the past 26 weeks. In terms of the countries it was in, the United States, it's been downloaded 94 times. Israel 7 times, Canada 7 times.
I'm Ellen Besner, and this is what Jewish Canada sounds like for Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. Welcome to the CJN Daily, sponsored by Metropia. Eitan Steinfeld doesn't go in for video games all that much. Instead, in his leisure time, he taught himself to make websites, and when he was 12, he made one that he and his camp friends used to share opinions and cool videos. When he was 13 and he got the Apple Watch, Eitan decided to try his hand at putting together an app to make it easier for him to recite the daily Jewish prayers at his school and wherever else he might be. There are already several types of online Jewish prayer book apps out there on the market, and lots of people use these on their iPhones or iPads to pray, but not on the Sabbath or on Jewish religious holidays when the use of these electronics is prohibited. There are also apps for the daily Torah portion. Chabad has an app, as do some other Jewish movements, including ArtScroll. Eitan's WatchSiddur tells the specific prayers for that weekday in the Jewish calendar, in Hebrew only for now. It also has the blessings recited after eating, known as the Birkat Hamazon, and he recently added the Shema prayer for bedtime after users gave him some feedback. Coming up, we'll talk to Eitan and to his father, Zev, who is a Jewish studies teacher at the same high school, about why they're not charging for this app. But first, here's what's making news elsewhere in Canada right now.
My name is Joseph Samuels. I'm better known by Joe Samuels. I live in Santa Monica, California. This is what Jewish Canada sounds like.
Canada is sending a high-level delegation to Wednesday's International Conference on Anti-Semitism and Holocaust Remembrance. It's taking place in Malmö, Sweden today. The Swedish King and Queen will be there along with delegations from many countries, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will lead Canada's delegation. He'll be joined by Irwin Cotler, Canada's special envoy on the topic of anti-Semitism and Holocaust remembrance, and by Stéphane Dion, who serves as Canada's special envoy to the European Union. Several years ago, it was dangerous to wear Jewish symbols while walking in the streets of Malmö. But recently, the Swedish government and civil society have pledged to fight anti-Semitism, boost education on the Holocaust, and this conference came out of that commitment. Before the interview with Eitan and his father Zev, I should tell you just how this story came about. It happened because of Yoni Goldstein, the CJN's CEO and editor-in-chief. Yoni suggested it. He's a close friend of the Steinfeld family. I don't know if Yoni has an Apple Watch, but coincidentally, I just got one from my husband and kids for my milestone birthday on the weekend, right before the interview. Although I haven't figured out how to use it yet, and to be honest, I'm really a little bit intimidated, which is why we all need kids like Eitan Steinfeld to help us with these things. All right, that being said, I'm joined now by Eitan Steinfeld from his home in Thornhill, and also by his father, Zev. Eitan, how did this all come about? What gave you the idea?
Well, for my bar mitzvah, I got an Apple Watch for my bar mitzvah as well. And when I was looking into apps to download for it, I was looking for a siddur, and I noticed that there was no siddur available for the Apple Watch. So I created my own, since earlier I started creating iPhone apps. And so I then went over to the Apple Watch, created my own siddur app. So that way I would be able to have a siddur to use on the Apple Watch.
Why does the world need one on an Apple Watch? What is the use of having it, in your opinion?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I think like the Apple Watch is just easier to access, right? It's on your wrist all the time as opposed to your phone, which you might have left in another room or something. So if you just need to say a quick thing like birkat hamazon after a meal or something, that's in the Apple Watch siddur. So that way you don't have to go and get your phone or something, and that way you have it with you on your wrist.
Can we talk a bit about who, did you get any sort of religious help when you were putting it together, or some instructional advice, to rely on them? Who, if any, were your mentors in putting this particular one together?
To be honest, I kind of just did this on my own. I mean, in terms of what to put in there, I decided on my own, and I also used help from Safaria.org. It's a website which basically has all the Tanakh, all the prayers, everything that you would need. And so I got a lot of help from there in terms of what to put in what order and everything like that. But there wasn't really any specific person who helped me put together the app.
You didn't put your own name as the developer when you did it for Apple's, or to get it accepted. You want to tell us a little bit about what was going on there?
Yeah, so Apple doesn't allow app developers under the age of 18 to submit apps to the App Store. So in order to actually get my app in there, I put it in under my grandfather's name. So he created the account, and I submitted the app as if I was him. So under the app developer, it says Eitan Steinfeld as the developer, because I can't make an account since I'm obviously under 18.
And you chose to make it free. What was your thinking behind that?
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, everyone is more inclined to download a free app as opposed to a paid app. So I was creating the first Apple Watch siddur on the App Store. I wanted it to be available to people who wanted to download it. And so I feel like it would be available to more people if it was free as opposed to paid, and it would get more downloads that way, and more people would be able to use it.
So can you tell us some of the statistics? I'm sorry. Did you
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to hop in real quick, Ellen.
Yeah.
I think also part of it is, and Eitan can correct me if I'm wrong, is that, the impetus for creating the app was more is a hobby, right? For Eitan, is his coding and app development and stuff is something he does, independently for fun. And I think that there's no kind of commerce or business side to the app. And as he said, I think accessibility was something that he wanted, as he said. So just throwing that in.
Understood. I'm speaking like a mother of somebody who would, invent something, and this is huge. You could cash in on this, So I'm thinking as a business head, as opposed to a gute neshama head. But going back to Eitan, tell us a little bit about what you know about how many downloads you've had, and any feedback. Who's using it?
It's been downloaded 147 times over the past 26 weeks. In terms of the countries it was in, the United States, has been downloaded 94 times, Israel 7 times, Canada 7 times, and then it just goes down from there, like France 5 times, UK 4 times, Argentina 3 times, and then 2 times in Russia and Egypt and China and Ireland.
Would that surprise you, those ones, the last few?
Yeah, there are plenty of other countries as well like that. It's just been downloaded once in, like Uganda, Austria, Malaysia, Morocco, Mexico, Singapore, Switzerland, Belgium, Turkey, Brazil, Germany, like all over the place.
It's like Flat Stanley. You're finding out where Jews are all over the world, right? They need this.
Yeah.
I want to bring your dad in. How did you watch this process unfold? And what was your feeling about seeing this?
Yeah, look, obviously off the top, I'll say to embarrass Eitan a little bit, that we're very proud of him, of course. As parents, you do everything you can to help your children be successful and independent, and you never know how it's going to turn out. And thankfully, so far, Eitan's really made us all very, very proud. And it was his own decision to create, Jewish content like this. Certainly wasn't anything that I told him to do or anything like that. But when he told us the idea, I certainly thought it was fantastic. Obviously, people in our local community here in Thornhill thought it was fantastic. And I know a few of my friends who have Apple Watches who've downloaded it and use it.
So do you have an Apple Watch and use it or no?
I don't have an Apple Watch. Eitan, as he said, got one for his bar mitzvah. I did not get one for my bar mitzvah in 1993. And so I'm still waiting for mine. I'm still waiting.
And he won't let you borrow it. Have you tried it though? Or you must
Yeah,
have tried
yeah. He uses it. I mean, Eitan and I attend the morning minyan at Chat. He'll sit there kind of scrolling through on his watch from time to time, depending on what part of the prayer service we're at. And look, as a Jewish studies teacher, to be able to bring a small piece of Jewish tradition into the world is really amazing. I mean, for me, the coolest thing is when he started telling us, I didn't even know you could do this, but to find out that, it's been downloaded in Egypt or in Argentina, or in the Ukraine. I mean, that's just like, it just kind of, it warms your heart a little bit to think that, at 14 or 13 and a half, Eitan was able to do that. That was pretty cool.
If you want to check out what Eitan's app looks like, we've put the link to WatchSiddur in our show notes. And that's what Jewish Canada sounds like for this episode of the CJN Daily, sponsored by Metropia. Integrity, community, quality, and customer care. And we haven't done a listener shout out in a while, so today's goes out to Glenn Nashin of Côte St. Luc, Quebec. Nashin is a former city councillor there, and he writes a really interesting blog about all things Côte St. Luc. And we'll end the episode with a little bit of the sound from Tuesday night's Chilula from the anniversary of Leonard Cohen's death. Montreal Rabbi Aubrey Glazer and some Leonard Cohen experts from Canada and the US discussed the famous Canadian poet and singer's music and his Judaism. And before they recited the memorial prayer, Aaron Lightstone from the band Jaffa Road played a few verses of Cohen's 1988 song, Tower of Song.
Well, now I bid you farewell. I don't know when I'll be back. They're moving us tomorrow to the other tower down track, but you'll be hearing from me, baby, long after I'm gone. I'll be speaking to you sweetly from a window in the Tower of Song.